The arrogant council, the crystal spires of Nexus Prime stretched toward the purple sky like frozen lightning, their surfaces reflecting the light of 3 suns. Deep within the largest spire, the Grand Council Chamber of the Galactic Supremacy hummed with the conversations of 12 different species. The chamber itself was a marvel of engineering, a sphere of pure energy that held representatives from across the galaxy in perfect environmental bubbles suited to their individual needs. High Commander Vex Thura of the Zephyrian Empire floated. In her position at the center of the chamber, her forearms gracefully manipulating holographic displays. Her species had ruled the galaxy for over 5,000 years, and their technological superiority was unquestioned. The Zephyrians had evolved beyond the need for solid surfaces, their bodies adapted to exist in the vacuum of space itself. To them, planet-bound species were merely curiosities, useful only as sources of raw materials and labor. Council members Vex Thura's voice resonated through the chamber. Translated instantly into the native languages of all present, we have received the quarterly reports from our deep space reconnaissance vessels. Sector 7 Alpha has yielded 3 new worlds suitable for resource extraction, and Sector 12 Beta has identified 2 species ready for integration into our labor force. The Krillian representative, a being that resembled a walking crystal formation, pulsed with pale blue light. The efficiency of our expansion continues to exceed projections. The primitive species we encounter offer no resistance to our technological superiority. Vex Thura's expression, if it could be called that, remained neutral. Her species had long ago abandoned emotional displays as inefficient. Indeed, however, there is one anomaly in the reports that requires discussion. Scout Vessel Thatanine has filed a report on a small blue planet in the outer rim of Galaxy Arm 3. The world appears to harbor a species that has achieved basic space travel. A ripple of mild interest passed through the assembled representatives. The Volphan delegate, a massive creature with tentacles that constantly shifted between dimensions, spoke in a voice like grinding stone. How primitive are they? Have they achieved faster than night travel? Negative, Vex Thura replied. Calling up a holographic display of Earth, the planet rotated slowly, showing its blue oceans and white clouds. They have barely managed to place primitive satellites around their world. Their fastest vessels cannot even reach their own system's outer planets in reasonable time. The species calls themselves humans and their world Earth. The Nexari representative, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, flickered with what might have been amusement. Then why do we discuss them at all? They are centuries away from being relevant to our interests. Vex Thura manipulated the display, zooming in on various human settlements. The anomaly lies in their behavior patterns. Unlike the other primitive species we have catalogued, these humans display unusual aggression. They are constantly engaged in conflicts with their own kind, using primitive chemical explosives and metal projectiles. Their scout reports indicate they have divided their world into separate territories and regularly engage in warfare. The Solonian delegate, a graceful being with translucent skin and multiple eyes, tilted her head. This is concerning. Aggressive. Primitives can be problematic if they develop advanced technology. Perhaps we should consider intervention before they progress further. Intervention? The Krillian representative pulsed with harsh yellow light. For a species that has not even achieved interstellar travel, the resources required would be insignificant compared to our current expansion priorities. Vex Thura studied the data, scrolling past her field of vision. The scout reports also indicate that humans have a peculiar trait. They appear to learn rapidly from conflict. Each war they engage in produces more advanced weapons and tactics. However, they remain limited by their primitive understanding of physics and energy manipulation. The Voltan delegates' tentacles writhed with impatience. "High Commander, surely we have more pressing matters than discussing primitives who play with chemical explosives. The Andorian mining operations require additional labor, and the Kelron resistance in Sector 15 still requires suppression." "Agreed," Vexthera said, dismissing the Earth display with a gesture. "The human species will be catalogued and monitored. If they develop interstellar capabilities within the next millennium, we will reconsider their status. For now, they pose no threat to our interests." The Council moved on to other matters, completely unaware that their dismissal of humanity would prove to be the greatest mistake in galactic history. Far from the crystal spires of Nexus Prime, on the small blue world the aliens had so casually dismissed, Dr. Elena Vasquez was having the most important discovery of her career. The xenobiologist had spent 15 years studying the possibility of extraterrestrial life, and today, deep in the underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert, she was staring at proof that humanity was not alone in the universe. "The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases," she said to her assistant, Dr. James Park, as they examined the readings from their deep space monitoring arrays. "These patterns suggest artificial origin, and the power output is beyond our current understanding of physics." Dr. Park, a young physicist who had joined the project only 6 months ago, studied the data with growing excitement. "Elena, if these readings are accurate, we're looking at technology that's centuries ahead of anything we've developed. The energy efficiency alone suggests they've solved problems we haven't even begun to understand." Elena nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the glow of the holographic displays. She had dedicated her life to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, driven by an unshakable belief that humanity's destiny lay among the stars. The discovery of these energy signatures was the vindication of everything she had worked toward. "There's more," she said, pulling up another display. "The patterns suggest these aren't natural phenomena. They're structured, purposeful. Someone or something is out there, and they're using technology that makes our most advanced systems look like stone tools." The implications were staggering. If alien civilizations existed with such advanced technology, humanity's position in the galaxy was far more precarious than anyone had imagined. Elena had been tracking these signals for months, and the data suggested that Earth was being observed. "We need to inform the world governments," Dr. Park said, his voice tight with urgency. "This changes everything. If there are alien civilizations out there, and if they have this level of technology, they could arrive at any moment," Elena finished, "and we would be completely defenseless." The secure communication that Elena sent to the United Nations Scientific Council that evening would set in motion a chain of events that would reshape human civilization. Within hours, the world's most powerful leaders were gathered in an emergency session, reviewing the data that Elena's team had collected. President Sarah Chen of the United Earth Federation stood before the assembled representatives, her expression grave. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing the possibility that humanity is not alone in the universe. More concerning, we may be facing the possibility that we are being watched by civilizations with technology far beyond our own." The Chinese representative, General Liu Wei, leaned forward. "Dr. Vasquez, what can you tell us about the intentions of these ... observers?" Elena stood at the presentation podium, her laptop displaying the energy signature data. "General, we can only speculate about their intentions. However, The pattern of observations suggests they are conducting some form of surveillance. They appear to be studying our population centers, our military installations, and our technological infrastructure. The Russian delegate, Admiral Volkov, stroked his beard thoughtfully. This surveillance pattern, it resembles military reconnaissance. Are we looking at a potential invasion? We cannot rule it out, Alina replied. If these civilizations view us as a threat, or if they desire our planet's resources, we would be virtually powerless to resist with our current technology. The debate that followed was intense. Some representatives argued for immediate disclosure to the world's population, while others insisted on maintaining secrecy to prevent panic. However, one thing was clear to everyone in the room. Humanity needed to prepare for the possibility of contact with alien civilizations. It was General Marcus Steele, the newly appointed head of the Global Defense Initiative, who proposed the solution that would change everything. "We need to level the playing field," he said, his voice carrying the authority of 3 decades of military experience. "If we're being watched by superior technology, then we need to acquire superior technology of our own." "How do you propose we do that?" asked the Japanese representative. General Steele smiled grimly. "We capture some of theirs." The plan that emerged from that meeting would become known as Project Titan. Under the cover of expanded space exploration programs, humanity would deploy a network of advanced sensors and capture systems throughout the solar system. The project would be funded by every major nation on Earth, with the goal of intercepting and studying any alien technology that came within range. Alina found herself at the center of the project, leading a team of the world's most brilliant scientists and engineers. The underground facility in the Atacama Desert was expanded into a massive complex, hidden beneath the desert sands. Similar facilities were constructed on every continent, connected by quantum communication networks that could coordinate a global response to any threat. The first breakthrough came sooner than anyone expected. 3 weeks after Project Titan began operations, the monitoring station in Antarctica detected an anomaly. A small object, no larger than a basketball, had appeared at the edge of the solar system and was moving toward Earth at impossible speeds. "It's decelerating," Dr. Park reported as the team tracked the object's approach. "Whatever propulsion system it's using, it's unlike anything in our physics textbooks." Alina watched the object's trajectory on the main display. "It's heading for Earth orbit. This could be our first opportunity to study alien technology up close." The operation to capture the alien probe was humanity's first real test of Project Titan's capabilities. Using a network of orbital platforms disguised as communication satellites, the team managed to trap the probe in a containment field just as it reached Earth's atmosphere. The analysis of the captured probe revealed technology that was both incredibly advanced and surprisingly accessible. The alien systems were designed for efficiency and ease of use, as if their creators had never expected anyone to reverse engineer their technology. "It's like they've never encountered resistance," Alina observed as her team dismantled the probe's systems. "Their security measures are minimal, and their technology is practically modular. It's as if they've become so accustomed to technological superiority that they've forgotten to defend against it." The discoveries made from that single probe would accelerate human technology by decades. Within months, Elena's team had developed new propulsion systems, energy weapons, and defensive shields based on alien principles. The technology was then distributed to secret facilities around the world, where it was integrated into humanity's defense systems. However, Alina couldn't shake the feeling that their success had been too easy. The probe's capture had been almost effortless, and its technology had been surprisingly simple to understand. It was as if the aliens had never encountered a species capable of learning from their technology. "They're overconfident," she told General Steele during one of their regular briefings. "Whoever built this probe has never faced serious opposition. They've become complacent." The general nodded thoughtfully. "That could be our advantage. If they underestimate us, we might have a chance to surprise them." Alina hoped he was right, because deep in her heart, she knew that humanity's real test was still coming. The probe had been just the beginning. Somewhere out there, in the vast darkness of space, the aliens who had built it were still watching. And eventually, they would come to Earth in person. The Titan was stirring, and the galaxy was about to learn what happened when you underestimated the determination of the human species. The first contact disaster, 3 months after the probe incident. The morning sky above Geneva was clear and peaceful. President Sarah Chen stood at the window of her office in the United Nations building, watching the early commuters make their way through the streets below. The world continued its daily routine, unaware that everything was about to change forever. The first sign of the approaching aliens came from the monitoring station in orbit around Mars. Commander Rebecca Torres, a veteran astronaut who had volunteered for the dangerous assignment of operating the remote station, was conducting her routine scans when her instruments detected something that made her blood run cold. "Control, this is Mars Station Alpha," she reported, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was seeing. "I'm detecting multiple large objects approaching from the outer system. They're moving at incredible speeds, and their energy signatures match the probe we captured." Back on Earth, in the Project Titan command center, Alina felt her heart skip a beat. The moment they had been preparing for had finally arrived. "Commander Torres, can you get a visual on the objects?" "Affirmative, Dr. Vasquez. Switching to long-range optical sensors now." The images that appeared on the main display took everyone's breath away. 12 elegant vessels, each one the size of a small city, glided through space with impossible grace. Their hulls seemed to be made of some crystalline material that reflected the light of the distant sun in rainbow patterns. They moved in perfect formation, their approach vector aimed directly at Earth. "They're beautiful," whispered Dr. Park, and Alina had to agree. The alien ships were works of art, designed to inspire awe and demonstrate the incredible technological capabilities of their builders. However, Alina also recognized them for what they truly were: instruments of conquest. "General Steele," she said into her communicator, "we have confirmation. Multiple alien vessels approaching Earth. Estimated arrival in 6 hours." The general's response was immediate and decisive. "Initiate Protocol 7. All Project Titan facilities are now at maximum readiness." President Chen is being briefed now. Around the world, hidden facilities that had been disguised as research stations or communication centers suddenly revealed their true purpose. Defensive systems powered up, weapon platforms emerged from underground bunkers, and modified spacecraft prepared for launch from secret bases. President Chen addressed the world from her secure bunker beneath the Swiss Alps. "Citizens of Earth, I must inform you that we are about to experience first contact with an alien civilization. Their intentions are unknown, but we are prepared to defend our world if necessary." The reaction was immediate and intense. Stock markets crashed, religious leaders called for prayer, and military forces around the world went to full alert. However, There was also something else in humanity's response that surprised many observers: determination instead of panic. Most people responded with a resolve to face whatever was coming aboard the lead alien vessel. The ISV Dominion, Ambassador Kelenix of the Nexari, examined the approaching blue world with mild interest. The ambassador was a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, and his species had been conducting diplomatic missions for the galactic supremacy for over 2,000 years. This assignment was routine, a simple matter of contacting a primitive species and informing them of their new status as subjects of the supremacy. Navigator Kelenix spoke, his voice resonating through the ship's crystalline corridors. Maintain standard approach formation. We will begin with the usual intimidation display. The navigator, a Zephyrian officer named Vexera, manipulated the ship's controls with her forearms. Ambassador, our sensors are detecting some unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface. The primitives appear to have developed some form of energy shielding. Kelenix flickered with what might have been amusement. Impossible. Our intelligence reports confirm that these humans have barely achieved basic space travel. Any energy signatures you're detecting are probably just primitive power generation systems. Admiral Thexera, who commanded the small diplomatic fleet, was not entirely convinced. Her species had survived for millennia by being cautious, and something about the energy readings from Earth made her nervous. Ambassador, perhaps we should request additional security vessels. The readings suggest these humans may be more advanced than our reports indicated. Admiral, Kelenix replied with the condescending tone that had made him successful in countless diplomatic missions. I have personally overseen the integration of over 50 primitive species into the supremacy. They all follow the same pattern. Initial fear, followed by desperate attempts at negotiation, and finally acceptance of their new status. These humans will be no different. The ambassador was about to learn that humans were very different indeed. The alien fleet entered Earth's atmosphere with all the pageantry and intimidation that had worked successfully for thousands of years. The ships arranged themselves in a formation designed to be visible from every major population center on Earth. Their crystalline hulls caught the sunlight and threw it back in brilliant displays that lit up the sky like aurora. Alina watched from the Project Titan command center as the alien ships took their positions. They're following the same pattern we saw in the probe's database, she observed. This is a standard intimidation formation. They're trying to overawe us with their technological superiority. General Steele nodded grimly. Then let's show them that we're not easily intimidated. The first communication from the aliens came in the form of a transmission broadcast to every communication device on Earth. Ambassador Kelenix's image appeared on screens around the world, his crystalline form pulsing with energy as he spoke. People of Earth, the ambassador began. His voice translated into dozens of languages simultaneously. I am Ambassador Kelenix of the Galactic Supremacy. Your world has been selected for integration into our empire. You will surrender your weapons, dismantle your governments, and prepare for relocation to designated labor facilities. Compliance will ensure your species' survival. Resistance will result in complete extinction. The silence that followed the broadcast lasted exactly 30 seconds. Then President Chen's response was broadcast from every government facility. On Earth, Ambassador Kelenix, she said, her voice calm and steady, we thank you for your message. However, we must respectfully decline your offer. Earth is not interested in joining your empire, and we request that you leave our solar system. Immediately, The response aboard the alien flagship was one of complete shock. In 2,000 years of diplomatic missions, Ambassador Kalanick's had never encountered a primitive species that had refused the supremacy's generous offer of slavery over extinction. "They must not understand," the ambassador said, his crystalline form flickering with confusion. "Perhaps their translation systems are inadequate. Send the message again, but this time include a demonstration of our power." Admiral Dexera was beginning to have serious doubts about this mission. "Ambassador, I'm reading massive energy build-ups across the planet's surface. Whatever these humans are preparing, it's not surrender." The demonstration that followed was intended to show Earth's helplessness in the face of alien technology. The ISV Dominion fired a low-power energy beam at an uninhabited island in the Pacific Ocean. The beam should have vaporized the island, creating a spectacular display that would convince the humans of the futility of resistance. Instead, the beam struck an invisible barrier and was absorbed completely. The island remained untouched, and the energy from the alien weapon was redirected harmlessly into the atmosphere. "Impossible," Admiral Vexara whispered. "Their energy shielding is more advanced than ours." Alina smiled as she watched the alien beam dispersed harmlessly against Earth's defensive grid. Phase 1 of Project Titan is working perfectly. They just learned that we're not as helpless as they thought. The counterattack began immediately. From hidden silos around the world, humanity's most advanced missiles streaked toward the alien fleet. These weren't the primitive weapons the aliens expected. Elena's team had spent months developing hybrid technology that combined human engineering with alien science. The missiles used alien power sources to accelerate human-designed warheads to incredible velocities. More importantly, they were designed to penetrate the exact type of energy shielding that the aliens used. The first missile punched through the shields of the ISV Conquest like they weren't even there. The warhead detonated inside the ships, HULL, tearing the elegant vessel apart in a brilliant explosion that lit up the sky. "Evasive maneuvers," Admiral Dexera shouted as more missiles streaked toward her fleet. "All ships, maximum shields, and return fire." But the alien fleet was designed for intimidation, not combat. Their formation was perfect for psychological warfare, but terrible for actual defense. The ships were too close together, their movements too predictable, and their tactics too inflexible. Captain Maria Santos, piloting the first of Earth's modified fighter craft, dove her ship through the alien formation. Her vessel looked like a conventional human fighter, but its systems were anything but conventional. Using technology reversed from the captured probe, her ship was equipped with energy weapons that could penetrate alien defenses. "Phoenix Leader to all squadrons," she reported as she locked onto her first target. "These ships are like sitting ducks. They're not even trying to evade." She was right. The alien vessels were following their standard intimidation protocol, which assumed that any resistance would be quickly overwhelmed by their superior firepower. They had never encountered an enemy that could match their technology. The battle lasted only 2 hours. When it ended, 8 of the 12 alien ships had been destroyed, and the remaining 4 were severely damaged. The Galactic Supremacy's diplomatic fleet, which had never lost a single vessel in 2,000 years of operations, was retreating in complete disarray. Ambassador Kalanick's, his crystalline form flickering weakly from the damage to his ship, stared at the tactical display in disbelief. How is this possible? They are primitives. They should not even be able to damage our hulls. Admiral Vexera, her ship's systems failing around her, knew exactly what had happened. "Ambassador, They've been studying our technology. The weapons they used were designed specifically to counter our defenses. They knew exactly how to hurt us. The truth was even more disturbing. Elena's team had not just reverse-engineered alien technology, they had improved upon it. Human creativity, combined with alien science, had produced weapons and defenses that were more effective than anything the Supremacy had ever encountered. Send an emergency transmission to the High Council, Admiral Vexera ordered. Tell them we've encountered something unprecedented. These humans are not behaving according to any known pattern. As the battered alien fleet limped away from Earth, Elena stood in the Project Titan command center, surrounded by cheering scientists and military personnel. The first test of humanity's defenses had been successful beyond their wildest dreams. Dr. Vasquez, General Steele said, his voice filled with pride, "You've given us more than just weapons. You've given us hope." Elena nodded, but her expression remained serious. "General, this was just their diplomatic fleet. The real test is coming. When they report back to their leaders, they'll send everything they have." The general's smile faded. "How long do we have?" "Based on the captured data, probably 6 months, maybe less. Then we'd better get ready. The Titan is waking up, and we need to be ready for the real fight." High above Earth, the wreckage of alien ships drifted through space like broken jewels. Each piece of debris was carefully collected by human recovery teams, adding to the growing database of alien technology that would fuel humanity's preparation for the greater conflict to come. The galaxy had just learned its first lesson about human determination. Unfortunately for the galactic supremacy, it would not be the last. The Titan from Earth had taken its first stride, and there was no stopping it now.